Is it possible to live in Ecuador, in Quito specifically, for $1,000 a month? I think it is possible.
We're heading into the Foch Plaza area. This is home of clove cigarettes and booze. Okay. Oh, we should have came here earlier. So we came out and we're having a cappuccino in Juan Valdez Cafe. What it looks like in here. There's all kinds of cafes all over in here. This is the Foch Plaza area of Quito, Ecuador. It's a Friday afternoon, but it almost reminds me of evening because there's a lot of people out and they're already starting to party hardy here. We're lucky that we found a cafe that serves coffee in the Foch Plaza.
Life in Ecuador, Foch Plaza. This is the most touristy central plaza in Quito, in the tourist section. We're just having a coffee and dilly-dallying and talking about what's it like to live in Ecuador. Is it possible to live in Ecuador, in Quito specifically, for $1,000 a month? I think it is possible. I'm seeing that the local rents for apartments are still $300 or less. Of course, this does not include the tourist areas where all the foreigners go, so you can automatically remove that from the list. But of course, as we've always said, if you really want to be able to live abroad or just be able to be free to travel or live somewhere, the whole idea behind not needing as much income and living well on smaller means is to be able to spend your day the way you want, and whether that's, you know, working or you know, walking around, spending time with your wife, your loved ones, your children, you know, meeting people, whatever it is that you want to do in life. It's possible sooner than you ever thought possible in the past, just because, you know, all this information that we have now available. Well, for one thing, like with our channel, you know, living well on small means has allowed us to move to Ecuador. And is it possible to live in Ecuador, in Quito specifically, on $1,000 a month? It is possible. Could you live well in Quito on $1,000? I think if you go local, if you really go local, not like, you know, just kind of make a half a effort at it, you know, really just be committed to living like a local and paying local rates. I think that's, yes, you can. One thing about Quito that really stands out to me is there's a certain amount of physicality necessary in a city like Quito. For one, it's above 9,000 feet. Okay, so that right there is going to require, you know, your body's going to make a lot more effort just walking and existing. And the other thing is there's a whole lot of hills going on, isn't there, Angie?
Yeah, but it's not as bad as, say, San Francisco.
It's not as bad as San Francisco.
But there's a lot of hills. I mean, we've been going up, and just to walk to Super Maxi, it's walking in incline all the way.
Yeah.
The whole way.
And yesterday we walked like all day long, and I'll tell you, at the end of the day, it felt like I hiked 10 miles.
Yeah, but you got a good foot rub.
Well, I got a good rest, you know. Got a good rest and slept well, and so yeah, there's a certain amount of physicality in city living, and so, but depending on who you are and where you are in life, Quito could be a great fit, especially if you like big cities with lots of options. You know, there's just dozens and dozens of restaurants to eat at. Definitely a very stark difference between here and Salinas. No comparison whatsoever. You know, it seems to me that when someone is retired and that they say that the average Social Security check is $1,100, Well, if you put that together with 2 people, that's $2,200. That's plenty. If you go local, you know, if you're going local, that opens up a tremendous amount of options of the things that you can do. You just have to kind of set your mind to it and decide that you are going to be open-minded and be flexible enough to experience new things, do new things, and do them in a different way.
Honey, what's going local?
What's going local? Well, just go to the just go to the Mercado and shop, and then you're going local. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, well, that's, you know, if you listen to the Ram magazines, gee whiz, that's all you got to do. But there's more to it than that. But that's not what this video is about. Is it possible to live in Quito on 1,000? Yes, if you are committed to going local and knowing the language at least a little bit. I would say without knowing the language, it's probably still possible, depending on who you are and whether you're a people person, you know, how you get along well with people and that kind of thing. So, because it all comes down with how you interact with people when you come out to these places, you know, these countries like Ecuador and Quito. It's all about how you interact with your landlord, how you interact with you know, the people that you buy services from, whether it's the tank of gas that you're buying. You know, we once had a lady that came on our blog, Discover Cuenca Ecuador, that said she was paying $10 for a $2 tank of gas, and she was getting gringoed massively.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm just saying, you know, you have to have that commitment to know, to get to the bottom line of what it's really what it's really all about. Otherwise, why talk about living in Quito on $1,000? Well, if you have 2 people on Social Security, $1,100 each, and you live on one Social Security check, well, then with the other Social Security check, why, that opens up a whole lot of options. You can go travel, you can, you know, if you get tired of one city, you can go to the next city. You know, it gives you a little bit of breathing room to be able to do a little bit more than just sit in your apartment and go for walks, which there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, we do a lot of that. You know, the Italians back in the 50s and 60s, that was the major mode of entertainment, was going for a walk. La passeggiata is what they called it, which just means the walk, quote unquote. And it was a family tradition to go for a daily walk, and we even went for walks when we were teenagers with our friends. That's what we would do with our friends, our school friends. We would go for walks everywhere, and that was in southern Italy. And that's what this is like here in Quito. But here we are in the middle of Foch Plaza. This is the most touristy section that you could ever choose in Quito.
It's also the most prevalent for pickpockets.
The most prevalent for pickpockets, and so
con games, con schemes.
Any area that has a massive amount of tourism is going to have a lot of trickery and pickpocketing and that kind of thing. Becoming savvy about these things is definitely a prerequisite if you haven't traveled much. So out in the country, you've got issues here with security. There's a certain way that we recommend living in developing countries, and it has to do, the primary aspect of it is security. There's a whole lot to understand about this issue of security, and I realize that in life nothing is 100% guaranteed security, but we can certainly put the odds in our favor, you know, to be able to have a peaceful existence. So you just have to be careful, because there's a lot of people on free forums, and we always talk about this stuff, you know, they want to kind of, what do you call it, whitewash everything and kind of minimize everything, you know. We just have your best interest at heart. We want you to be safe and secure and live well, and that's what we do. So we've done it for 6 years so far, so we certainly have plenty to share in that department. One of the things about being able to live well on small means is living without a car. Now, I've wanted to live without a car for a long time. That was one of the things on my list I wanted to do, and I wanted to walk more. Yeah, that was one of the things that I wanted to achieve, and I did achieve that. You see a lot of foreigners come here and they buy cars. Now, we have a lot to say about this kind of thing in our books. We want everybody to have our books. Everybody that comes to these places needs to have the information in these books. And all of the information that we're privy to that is, you know, is designed to make your life more secure, better, easier, less stressful. And so there's a lot to know about this, you know, because people do. They come down here and they set themselves up for a certain kind of failure, you know, and they engage in certain behaviors, and we don't recommend it. But, you know, people are going to do what they're going to do. They have different, everybody has a different need, everybody's in a different spot in life, and they think this is the way to do things, or you know, or this is the best way to do it, or this is the way I think it should be done, or whatever. Or you can just kind of follow us and see what we're talking about here. I just want to show you this amazing view. Quito, Ecuador. Get a little bit of a close-up.